Hello, I'm going to waffle as normal for those of you who are watching the recordings. You'll know by now that I waffle at the beginning of these Facebook Lives because it takes a little bit of a while for it to pop up on Facebook, and I have my other Facebook thing open here to see to say that I'm going live, and it's not even showing up yet. That's interesting. And what's fascinating is Facebook is just saying you're live. We're building an audience for you. So hopefully very soon people will be dropping in and joining me for every time I nearly say gardener's question time. I need to come up with a different title for this. But it's confidence question time, and unusually it's on a Tuesday evening rather than on a Monday evening, because in the UK yesterday was a national holiday, not across the whole of the UK but most of the UK, so I, like all good TV programmes, switched the scheduling because yesterday was a chill out day for myself. Actually it was a big house clear out day, so charity shops did very well where I'm concerned. So as you come online, I can see that I already have one viewer. So hello, one viewer. I don't know who you are, so it'd be really lovely if you can give me thumbs up or hearts, or even have a comment. If you might already have a question that you want to pose already. Interestingly enough, it's only taken a little while for the confidence question time to get rolling. For people to start sending in questions, and this week I've had questions come in both via Facebook, and I've also had some emails coming as well, because I have a newsletter. Now I do, on my newsletter, I send out exclusive information to people. So this stuff that's not it's not included on my blog. It's not included on social media. So if you want to have access to that, then you need to go to juleswyman.com, and on the right hand side you'll see that you can sign up for the 7 Keys of Confidence there, and that will automatically put you on the mailing list. So you get a free gift as well of the 7 Keys of Confidence, but it will give you the opportunity to make sure that you're staying up to date with any changes like schedules of holidays and things like that, but also give you the opportunity to stay in touch with other events that I've got going on, and get access to some insights and stories. I'm stumbling because I'm trying to think of what's the right way of phrasing it, because I share a lot of different things on there to help people see themselves in a different way. It's really, you know, I've become very aware that I'm going a lot this evening. Just did it again. And again. No idea why that's happening this evening. Maybe it's something I do more often than I realised, and I've only just become aware of it. So first things first, I need to make sure that I had a request from one of my clients to make sure that I show the mug. Not this one, that one, because she said she thinks it's hilarious and always imagines that I've got some wonderfully herbally, spicy wonderfulness that I'm drinking. This evening it's a coffee actually. I fancied a coffee. I was up a little too early this morning than I wanted to be. I woken by some shenanigans going outside. So I thought a coffee might help me this evening. So I know that some of you like to, because you've told me, you like to just watch and not really worried about interacting. The whole purpose of doing these is so that I can reach as many people as possible. Now, I know this evening, obviously, because it's on a different evening, the viewing figures may be very different. They may go skyrocketing, they may plummet, who knows. But as people are joining in, especially like the one viewer that's there now, you can really help me, because my aim is to reach as many people as possible with this information. So even if you don't wish to make a comment below, which is absolutely fine, I appreciate that, but even just by you liking it or giving a heart or a laugh or a cry if you want to, or angry face, the little round steamy face, or whichever one it is, it helps your friends know and connect with them to let them know what you're watching, and it kind of helps spread the word in a way that's really effective. So as more people join, hello, more people joining, please do say hi. You can just drop your comments below, give me the thumbs up or some hearts or whatever it may be, and if I can position my face right as they pop up, they usually stroke across my face, which is fun as well. So it would be really amazing to have you help by sharing, because the purpose of me giving away this free content and making this a resource that you can connect with, that it is going to give you the opportunity to really understand confidence in a different way, because I believe that confidence is being misunderstood in so many different ways that it prevents people from being authentic. It prevents people from living in their own truth and being themselves, and that can end up with us covering up with so many insecure behaviours, with arrogant behaviours, with lies, with all sorts of cover-up, exaggerations, shrinking away. There are so many different things that we can end up doing, that trying to look for control, perfection. I could go on listing them, but actually what's really helpful is to kind of understand the truth about confidence. Now, I am running an event this Saturday in the beautiful city of York, which is where I live. If you want to come to that, there are a few places left. You can go to thetruthaboutconfidence.com and book your place there. But if you want to know this evening what our starting topic is, then please keep the hearts and tears and whatever coming in, because that makes, as I say, helps reach more people. So let me know that they are, give us a thumbs up and stuff. Anyway, so I had this question come in from a lady called Alison, and her question, I'm going to read it out word for word, and then I'm going to put some different spins on it, because on the surface this can seem like a really quite a quick, simple question to answer, and I think that I could, and there are so many other layers to it that I kind of want to unpick it as we go through this evening. Now, I know that last week, in fact, that I did a confidence question time, we went on for nearly an hour, because there were some wonderful interactions going on, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, going on below, which helped get the conversation going. And that's the whole point of this. This isn't just me sitting here at home with my lovely drink, my big mug, just so that I can spout off for the sake of it. I'm more than happy to do that, but what makes it worthwhile and useful for me is to get that interaction. So as I read out Alison's question, it might be really useful for you to think about how it links into you, and also what it maybe triggers for you, what it maybe already brings up for you, and see where that goes. So Alison says, why is my confidence so easily broken by another's unkind action or comment? Why is my confidence so easily broken by another's unkind action or comment? And this is such a common question that I get asked. It's a common way of looking at things, which is that we are conditioned and we are brought up to believe that how we feel about ourselves and what we're experiencing, the emotion that we're experiencing, is based on somebody else's actions or words or non-actions, which are still actions, but some people refer to them as non-actions. And what I want us to start to look at this evening, and I'm going to give you some different ways of thinking about this, some different insights, some different metaphors. So I will repeat myself in different ways here, deliberately. I'm not just going to see now the coffee has not going to be affecting me in that way. But what I want you to start thinking about is that, let's start with the first thing. If it genuinely worked for somebody to give you confidence, let's say, so if I were to just be telling you how amazing you are, you're fantastic, you're more intelligent than you give yourself credit for, you don't need to pretend, you can just relax and be yourself, all of the results you've achieved, you've done off your own back, and you're amazing, and I could go on and I could list all of those things. You're beautiful from the inside out. You know, all the things that so many people kind of crave to hear. We kind of get addicted to wanting to hear that kind of stuff, that sort of validation, that feedback, that love. Please, I heard a teacher recently said that most of the questions that he gets asked can be boiled down to two things. And one of those things is wrapped around, please love me, please love me, please love me. And it's basically kind of this, what the thinking brain does is it's got this bit that's been conditioned of, please tell me I'm okay, please tell me I'm okay. And it's just this constant repetition. And so if we kind of get addicted to that need to please tell me I'm okay, which ironically is one of the things that stops me reminding you to keep going, please like the video, please send the hearts or whatever it may be, and the comments below, because to a certain degree I'm not interested whether you like the video or not, but I do know that's the way social media works, is that the more hearts, likes, comments, emoticons, etc. that go on this video, the more people it can reach. So it's an interesting dichotomy that I get caught in where that's concerned. So that's another reminder. But if it really genuinely worked for other people to be telling us how great we are, how amazing we are, how fantastic we are, that we are lovable, that we are liked, etc., etc. If that really worked, then really and truly, I wouldn't have a job, because the majority of us had some big person in our life, be it a grandparent and a teacher and parent, an older sibling, cousin, aunt or uncle, whatever it may be. We had some bigger person in our lives that did tell us how great we were, that did tell us how fantastic we were and lovely. The majority of us had at least one person, if not a whole plethora of people that did that. And yet, if it's true that their comments are going to make us feel good and boost us up, then it only would take that one older person when you were little to say it once, and boom, done, jobs are good, and Jules is out of a job, which is actually my ambition for this job not to exist. But it didn't work, because for some reason your internal conditioning, your viewing on it, the meaning that you attached to their comments didn't mean that you took it on as a truth. You just took it on as what they thought. So then when it comes down to somebody else, or even the same person, saying you're a bad girl, or you've got it wrong, or you're stupid, or you shouldn't have done it that way, or you're ugly, or you've got fat thighs, or whatever it may be, I'm sharing the truth of what I've heard, that if we can't give one credit without the other. Does this make sense? Can someone let me know if this is making sense? That's not a validation call. It's just I want to know that you're comprehending what I'm saying. Because what I find so fascinating for us on that level of human psychology is why do we take it on board? Why do we take on board the negative stuff, basically, and yet we don't the positive stuff? What's that about? If somebody's saying, are you putting us, basically, Alison, I'll direct this at you if you're watching live, are you putting as much energy into collecting all of the kind comments and all of the kind actions that people direct towards you as you are all the other stuff? Because I've got a kind of sneaking suspicion that you're not. Now, our human psychology, unfortunately, partly due to the thinking brain has just as much as the primal brain is looking for survival, and that's all it's about is survival, i.e. keep this physical thing alive. You know, if there was a massive explosion or a sudden noise outside, my body would flinch and go into that fight, flight or freeze mode very quickly, and therefore and it would be looking to protect this physical being, keeping this physical being alive. But the psychological brain is also doing the same thing. It has this identity that it has created, it thinks is you, and that's a whole bigger topic that I'm still digging into to understand and learn myself. But it thinks that it's us. It thinks it's this identity. So if anyone says anything or does an unkind action or says an unkind comment that kind of wobbles this identity, it weirdly goes to protect it. But whilst it's also protecting it to try and keep it safe, so therefore the positive comments could be bouncing off that, because it's keeping hold of that identity, and that identity it made when it was young, and it's taken on board all sorts of comments. So therefore, it's still looking to defend or protect and preserve that identity. So it's actually on high alert. I must look out for the negative stuff. I must protect, not necessarily against it, because if it's believing, I'm sure that if you followed me long enough, you will have heard the mantra that I used to have, which was, I'm a fat, ugly, stupid, useless cow. And I had that mantra for years. Now, I collected all those different components. I didn't have one person in my life that said, by the way, Jules, you are a fat, ugly, stupid, useless cow. I collected all of those little bits, so it could have been person A that said one bit and person B said second bit, and then person A might have said something else, and I collected all of those into the psychology, collected that as an identity, and it believed it was true. And because it believed it was true, it's got to do two things. Is one, is collect the evidence to continue believing it's true. So therefore it's on high alert. If somebody says something about me being a fat, ugly, stupid, useless cow, unconsciously my brain's going, yep, see? And it collects that and puts that in the pot. So it's actually reinforcing, putting energy into that belief. But equally, if somebody says something that kind of potentially could expose that belief, I'm a fat, ugly, stupid, useless cow, then it's going to feel like it's hurt, and I'm going to want to cover that up, and I'm going to let that impact me. So, oh, Alison, you are on live. Brilliant. Hi, Jules. Spot on. It's so easy to believe the negative, isn't it? Well, yes, if you are putting the energy towards it. Let me give you a story. And it's one that you may well have heard, whether you've been to see me live or done my talks, or if you were one of the children in the schools that I used to teach in and do these workshops. I love this story. I know it as coming from the Native American tradition, the Native Indians of America tradition. And it would be that every year the grandfather of the tribe would collect all of the children around, and he would tell them stories. And obviously the stories are there, metaphors are there to help them learn, help them understand. We love to learn through stories. And so he collects all the children down and he tells them this amazing story about these two wolves that are having this fight. And you've got this one wolf who is all gnarly and his breath stinks and he's got bad teeth and his fur's all matted, and inside him he's kind of like got all these words that are like anger and guilt and frustration and lies and upset, and all of this kind of stuff is going on inside of this particular wolf. And then you've got this other wolf who has got these beautiful clean teeth and gorgeous breath and lovely fur, really takes care of themselves. And this wolf inside of her has got, and I've just realised I've done a gender thing. There is not anything meant by the gender thing. It's full of love and joy and happiness and positivity and all of this kind of thing. Now, these two wolves, as the grandfather says in this story, are constantly having a battle. They're constantly fighting with each other. And they're trying to tear each other apart and have this fight. And he builds this story up and to the point that the children are seeing these two animals, these two wolves fighting away with each other. And just as he builds the fight up to this climax, he turns and starts to leave. And the children are like, Grandfather, who is it that wins? Who wins the battle? Which wolf wins? And the grandfather very beautifully turns around and says, whichever one you feed. And I think it's such a beautiful way to remember, Alison, that if we are giving our energy, our focus, our attention to that negative collection of information, then it's going to get stronger. And that identity, that evidence is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. When I sat back and took a good look at myself, which is going to kind of lead on to some of the other stuff that I want to share with you this evening. When I took a good look at myself, and more particularly started to unpack the way that I was talking to myself about myself, I started to realise how much energy I was putting into it, to the point that I can even remember walking down a road years and years and years ago, and this person walked past me, and all they did was look. And now in here, I made that look mean all sorts of different things. And it obviously meant that I was a fat, they knew, they just with that one look, they looked at me and gone, I bet she's a fat, ugly, stupid, useless cow. But they hadn't said a word. It's the meaning that I made up. Does that all make sense? Alison, I'd love to know what your thoughts are, seeing as you are live and you are watching. You are live, obviously. I mean, live on the video right now. And I'd love to know your thoughts on it. I'd love to know your I'd love to know your thoughts. So something else, whilst hopefully Alison is sharing whether this makes sense and is helpful. So what I would encourage you to start doing, and anybody to start doing, is to not take anything, any action or any word that somebody offers you as a truth. Is start to give yourself the opportunity to challenge it for yourself. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes we are given information, and that's all somebody else's words are, is information. What we do with it is up to us. So really and truly, this noise that's coming out of here is just that, it's noise. Are we back on? Sorry, there was a glitch then, so I'm hoping we're back on. Oh, we're back. You caught me sipping again. So this that's coming out of here is just sound waves, and it only has meaning, and you can only understand or comprehend the meaning of it if you speak English. If you don't speak English, say for example, I suddenly started speaking in Swahili. If you don't speak Swahili, then the words that I would say have no meaning to you, because we have to have a level of understanding to be able to communicate and get clarification with this, what really and truly is noise. It's sound waves that are coming out. All of the meaning we make up. So we are these sensory machines that have eyes and ears and physical touch and sensations and all these nerve endings and everything going on. Now we receive information, whether it be light waves, whether it be sound waves, or whatever else it may be. We receive that information. Now what we do with that information is totally up to us. The meaning that we create from it, excuse me, the meaning that we create from it all happens up here, and it's all what we are doing. We are making that a meaning. So say for example, I have an expectation of somebody to behave a certain way. Now if they don't behave in that certain way, but I haven't told them that expectation, and they treat me in a different way, I could go into, well, that they were unkind. But actually, if their rules of expectation are a certain way, then as far as they're concerned, they maybe think they're being kind. I'm not sure if that makes sense. One of the phrases that I use as a reminder, and life happens, people do stuff, we're human beings, and we've all got our own stuff going on. We have to remember that this is one of my favourite quotes. I don't know if it's one that I have heard and then adapted, or whether it's one that I actually made up. I genuinely don't know. So feel free to use it, credit it to me, put it to anonymous. It doesn't really matter. How someone treats you says more about them than it does about you. How someone treats you, or what they say to you, so their actions or their words, how they treat you says more about them than it does about. Now, unfortunately, the majority of the time what we do is we make everyone's actions means something about us. We take it personally on our confidence. Oh, this evening the internet connection is... I'm hoping that this is going to stay on. I'm just going to try something, so I apologise for the big finger action. A difference. It may or it may not. See. So we'll give it a go with that and see if that helps. So where was I? Yeah, so somebody's actions, we make it mean something about us personally. So I'll give you a real world example. I think it was just over a year ago. I got the giggles about this because I heard what this brain was up to. But I was going into a shop, and as I was going into the shop, somebody came out and they kind of not shoved me, but their shoulder touched mine and pushed past me. But they didn't say anything, they carried on walking. And my brain went, what am I, invisible? So it immediately made their action about me. But how someone treats me says more about them than it does about me. See, when I heard that and just went, that's hilarious, because they could be in a rush, they might have been blind or had poor eyesight, they could be completely rude, they might be chauvinistic, who knows? There are so many different things that are possible for that person's action. But that person's action is about them and how they perceive the world and what's going on for them, not about me. I forgot it's Tuesday night. Tuesday night in York, for some reason, is campanology night. All the churches seem to practice their bell ringing, and the church that's by my house has a very interesting bell ringing style, shall we say. So I'm hoping that makes sense. Now, Alison, you have put a comment down there. So you've put, I never looked at it that way before. I know I shouldn't believe the negatives, but I know now it's up to me to change my thoughts and my own self-identity. I have the power to change this when I notice things. Thanks. Excellent. That's awesome. So I'm trusting that that has actually answered your question and given you the insight that you were looking for. So I know that the internet connection is not particularly brilliant this evening. It seems to be cutting in and out. So I know I've lost a number of people because of that. That's okay. Hopefully they can get it on the old replay. But for those of you that are dipping back in and out, if it's only Alison that's on here, that's great. If there's anybody else on here, what are your thoughts on what I've shared? So the original question was, why is my confidence so easily broken by another's unkind action or comment? So I've given you a couple of different ways to look at that. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it, with what I've said about us giving it attention. So when you're focusing on and actively looking for the negatives, does it make sense? Why do that? Why not put just as at least balance it out, at least get an equilibrium of looking for both rather than just one or the other? Because it's about remembering whichever one you feed is going to get the strength, it's going to get the power. It makes sense when you look at it like that. You know, if you were going to the gym and only ever picked up a dumbbell and started doing weights with your right arm, and never did them with your left arm, then it stands to reason that the right arm's going to get strong and the left arm doesn't, because it's getting the focus and the attention and the workout, basically. And it's also about remembering that how others treat you says more about them than it does about you. I will say that again. How someone treats you says more about them than it does about you. Because it's about not taking things personally in that way. It's about recognizing that treatment is to do with that person's meaning, that person's perception of themselves, let alone the world. So through our own perception of the world is how we're going to interact with other people. And until we address and work on ourselves, you know, we have this kind of weird expectation that we want other people to change. You know, I want my boss to behave in a better way, or I want my colleague to behave in a better way, or my spouse, or my children, or my other family member or friends, or etc., etc. We want them to behave in a different way in order to give us confidence. well, if you're looking for them to treat you differently to help you build more confidence, then you're giving your confidence away to them, because if they're the ones that build you up, they're also going to be the ones that can knock you down, because you're saying it's their responsibility, not yours. So I've not had any other comments or anything coming in, so I'm making sure, I'm guessing that that has made sense. I know that people have, because it kind of cut in and out. My assumption is some people, it's quite hard to watch these videos when they cut backwards and forwards. And I was trying to watch a client's one that she sent me today from a Facebook Live and wasn't able to do it because of her internet connection, unfortunately. So if you have other questions, if you've missed most of this and you're just joining back in now, then what are your thoughts on confidence? Do you think it is something that you can develop for yourself? Do you think it is something that you can grow? Do you think you have a way of understanding it? How does the lack of it, or the perception of you lacking it, how's that impacting on your life? What ways and what is it creating for you that's making it a real challenge? And feel free to either do as Alison did, and on one of the posts in the Confidence Garden page, just sent me a message and said, this is the question, this is what I'd like on the topic on, and she got an answer. Now, the other question that came up, it is kind of linked, but because of the time, I'm not going to go into it this evening, and also kind of because of the internet connection. But she's emailed me, so and this is a client, so there are plenty of different ways that you can get hold of me, track me down, to get these questions on here. And I love the fact that people are sharing these videos, that are reaching out to others. I know somebody just said to me last week, I think it was, they shared a video. They're part of a business, a multi-level marketing business, and they've shared the videos with their team, which I thought was an awesome idea, sharing your videos with the team. And I know that there are other people that like to come back and watch these videos in their own time, and get what they need from it. So please, if you have a question, either direct message me, or you can put it on the page, or email me, jules@juleswyman.com, and I will keep collecting the questions, and next Monday at 7 p.m. we'll be back to our normal time next Monday, so we can carry on with our confidence question time then. And also a reminder that there are places still left for thetruthaboutconfidence.com, which is this coming Saturday in York. Now, if you do book, or rather when you do book your ticket to come along to that, I am going to give those that turn up on the day even, a special gift, which is worth, no, I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to give you a clue as to what it is. But it's up to you whether you want to be there, whether you can be there. It's the penultimate live event of this year for me. So, yeah, it's up to you whether you can be there. So I've waffled deliberately to give anybody time that was maybe frantically trying to, I don't know whether you're doing it on your phone or whatever it may be, trying to put a question in there. So yeah, I haven't got any more coming in, no more comments. Alison, again, thank you so much for sending in your question. Have a play around with the information that I've given you, and I would love to know what comes up for you, what you experience over the next few weeks, and hopefully it will give you a different way of being. I really wish that this was a magic wand, and that when you, Alison, or anybody else asked a question, I would be able to give you the answer and sort it out for you. But it doesn't work like that. It does take hard work, or rather it takes effort to be consistent with this. I know I've been doing this work now for professionally for 11 years. I've been doing personal development now for myself, for probably somewhere between 15 and 20 years. So I do know that it takes a dedication. I wish there was a quick fix. That's awesome. I'd love to know how you get on, Alison. I wish there was a quick fix, but there isn't, and it's really important to recognise that, and therefore not chastise yourself when you do make a mistake, when you do get hooked in by the negative self-talk. Is don't beat yourself up about it, because that's pointless. Because if you're trying to get away from the negative self-talk and then you abuse yourself for getting something wrong, then you're feeding the negative self-talk. So be really mindful of that. Be kind with what you find is my stock phrase. Be gentle with yourself and keep doing what you're doing, and believe in yourself, because your life really does depend on it. And I look forward to speaking to you again next Monday at 7 p.m. Take care. Bye.